All right, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, we're going to talk about Yordenis Ugas clowning Manny Pacquiao's punching power and saying there's no way that this old man is going to knock me out. I said old man, he didn't say old man, so don't put that on Ugas. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. And before we get into the subject matter of the video, as always, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you're not already subscribed, hit the like button, hit the share button. It would be greatly appreciated. All right, let's talk about the big fight that's coming up this weekend. This is Manny Pacquiao versus Yordenis Ugas. I'm not actually sure if it's that big a fight anymore, but it is a significant fight, and it is a fight that I'm telling you is a lot more close than people think that it is. You have Manny Pacquiao, who I do believe is a minus 450 in this fight over Yordenis Ugas, which means he's a big he's considered a big favorite in this, and there's a lot of people that are out there that are talking about Manny Pacquiao knocking out Yordenis Ugas and winning the fight in a dominating fashion. Manny Pacquiao's even talking about what he would do next after this fight, which was, fight either Errol Spence Jr. or Terrence Crawford. So a lot of people are treating this fight like this is just, a chance to go out and see Manny Pacquiao really shine. And Yordenis Ugas, who is no joke in the boxing ring, I'm telling you, the kid is no joke, is not really trying to have it. And he's saying, man, you guys that think that Manny Pacquiao is knocking me out, you guys are bananas. And I'm telling you that I agree with him. First of all, people talk about Manny's punching power as if Manny Pacquiao is some knockout machine. And quite honestly, Manny Pacquiao is not some knockout machine. I think he's had like maybe one knockout in the last 10 years. So what you have with Manny Pacquiao is you have a lot of nostalgia around Manny Pacquiao. You have a lot of people who remember what Manny Pacquiao was when Manny Pacquiao was absolutely at its best, and then looks and then says, oh, and then on top of it, they're looking at highlight reels of Manny Pacquiao when Manny Pacquiao was his absolute best, and not actually looking at the fights, because Manny Pacquiao is a strong puncher, but Manny Pacquiao is not somebody that is some one-punch knockout guy. Manny Pacquiao is somebody that would beat people up with accumulation of punches because he would be so quick moving in and moving out, and then he was a very strong puncher at 130, 135 pounds, and even for the one fight he had at 140. But at 147, I think other than Lucas Matisse, I don't think that he has had a knockout of any of these guys that have been up there. So because Manny Pacquiao is, quite honestly, he's a smaller fighter. He's a very talented fighter, but he is a smaller fighter. So I like that Yordenis Ugas talks about the fact that he's like, look, you guys, his power is no way that he's going to knock me out. And if he's not, and now here's the problem for Manny Pacquiao, if Yordenis Ugas is right. If Yordenis Ugas is right and Manny Pacquiao really can't hurt him with his power, then Yordenis Ugas is going to have a major advantage, because I don't know if you guys have actually went and watched Yordenis Ugas's fights and like really looked at how he fights. He is somebody that absolutely really tears your body down in a fight, and really over time basically makes it a very brutal fight. Manny Pacquiao, to be fighting somebody that is like that, if he can't get his attention in the first like 3 or 4 rounds, then what's probably going to happen over in the course of that fight is Yordenis Ugas is going to start wearing on him and wearing on him and wearing on him. And I'm telling you, this fight has the makings of some of those really great upsets that people don't see coming, that they should have seen coming beforehand. When I was a kid, one of those fights, now I'm not saying it's to this degree, but was Larry Holmes versus Muhammad Ali. You'd be surprised at how many people were picking and betting on Muhammad Ali to win, because whenever you see Muhammad Ali, you think about the absolute best that Muhammad Ali is. Unfortunately for him, when he went into the ring in 1980 against Larry Holmes, that was a 38-year-old Muhammad Ali that had already been through a lot of wars, had the onsets of Parkinson's. He had won his rematch against against Spinks and then went into retirement for 2 years. But when he got in there, he just really wasn't the same guy. And you can find these situations, a lot of other situations like that in boxing, where you have guys that look like they're good, but and then make these, fight intermittently, look really good, then come back out, and then all of a sudden they run into somebody that it's just like, hey man, this is not meant for you. For example, there's another guy that Sugar Ray Leonard fought late in Sugar Ray Leonard's career, when he tried to, because Sugar Ray Leonard would always make these comebacks, right? He went out with a retinal injury, then he came back, really made a comeback, went back into retirement, fought Marvelous Marvin Hagler, came back, won that, surprisingly, I think he might have won like a 168-pound title against Donnie Lalonde. Sugar Ray Leonard was back, and then boom, he takes a little bit more, tries it one more time, and then he runs into Hector Camacho, and the fight did not go so well. So with Manny Pacquiao, this is the type of situation that I like Manny Pacquiao. I'm actually in this fight, to tell you the truth, rooting for Yordenis Ugas, because I think Yordenis Ugas is a really good fighter, and that, at a certain point in time, the buck needs to be passed from these older fighters to younger fighters to continue to, increase the interest in the sport of boxing. So, I'm kind of going for Yordenis Ugas, but I'm not out here saying that there's no way that Manny Pacquiao can win. Manny Pacquiao is an excellent, excellent fighter, but I'm telling you that he really did show a lot of vulnerability in his last fight against Keith Thurman, because he was getting hit with a lot of right hands that usually Manny Pacquiao can get out of the way of. And if you can't get out of the way of a right hand from Keith Thurman, then, and that was 2 years ago, are you going to be able to get out of the way of a bunch of body shots coming from Yordenis Ugas? Because Yordenis Ugas is not somebody that is an occasional body shot. He's like, matter of fact, he's more of as much or more of a body hunter than Errol Spence Jr. is. Now, he doesn't have, the thing with Yordenis Ugas is Yordenis Ugas doesn't necessarily have the hand speed and the foot speed that somebody like Errol Spence Jr. has, but he is 35 years old, he is in his prime, and he is very, very aggressive. So if Manny Pacquiao is not all the way on, if he is just kind of on, I'm telling you, this thing can be like a lawnmower rolling over him in the later rounds. And if you don't believe me, go watch the fights with, I know they're lesser fighters, but just look at the way that he fights against Brandon Figueroa, and even how he was fighting Sean Porter, and how much damage he was doing to Sean Porter's body pursuing Sean Porter. And Sean Porter's a much younger fighter, and quite honestly has more mobility outside, as far as circling the ring, than Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao, well, maybe that's a little bit of exaggeration, but at this point in time in his career, he does. Maybe not in his prime when Manny Pacquiao was at his best. His foot speed might have been better, but Yordenis Ugas was tracking down Sean Porter, and Sean Porter is somebody that if he wants to move and stay away, is difficult to track down. But anyway, I really love what Yordenis Ugas has to say. Looking forward to the fight tomorrow. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.